world of handmade business can be tough when trying to monetize what you love. We've got truth bombs and motivation to help you find your way through. Passion to profit, let's start today, 'cause the world needs what you create. Tune in right now, it's your shot to learn how to be a handmade boss.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. So today we are going to be talking about email lists and specifically kind of answering the question, when should I start one? Okay. So the short answer is, if this is going to be your home hub, and if you don't know what a home hub is, or you have no idea how to find yours, how to nurture yours, how to really get yours growing and going, then I would say listen to the episode that talks about, can you have a business without social media? And also talk a little bit more. And also listen to the episode where I talk a little bit more about the algorithm and how that all works, because I will be kind of going really in depth in there about your home hub and how to find it. I will likely bring out another podcast episode talking about it and kind of how you can find it and, or, all the kind of considerations to have. But for now, just know that a home hub is the place where you are going to nurture your target market, where you're basically going to send people that come into your world, if they are not ready to buy, but kind of want to keep up with you, and they want to know more about you. And again, really nurture that know, like, and trust. So having said that, in the episode where I talked about, can you have a business without social media, I mentioned that your home hub could be an email list, and that could be your thing. Do I recommend just having an email list? I think it would be slightly more difficult to get that initial growth, because you are not getting organic people finding you from Instagram search and Facebook search and all that kind of thing. With an email list, it's literally just people who you send the link to and they physically sign up for it, okay? So it can be a little bit tricky to get an email list to grow, but not impossible, okay? So with an email list, I would say, if you are really wanting to power up, if you're like, Steph, I have time, I have energy, I have effort gauge or a effort gauge, and I have the money to be able to really look at stocking my Etsy shop, running that, having a home hub and having an email list. I really think that is really the sweet spot. And I would say, if that is you and you are ready to really push the business, I would say start an email list pretty much straight away. Okay. So when you're looking at starting an email list, one big thing is to recognize that really it is a place where your customer wants to go to get information, to get help, but to also find out a little bit more about you and the brand and sort of really understand what makes you special. They want to keep in with you. They want to keep up to date with you, know what you're kind of doing. And I think really, because a lot of people get quite scared, they get a email subscriber or 2 or 10 or 50 or 1,000, and they're like, oh my God, I cannot spam them. I cannot email them too much. I can't sell to them too much. I can't tell them, a lot of things. And honestly, and I sign up to your guys' emails, right? Because I like to see what's going on, what's being sent. And honestly, I think out of probably the 35, 40 that I've signed up for just this year alone, I think only one person is consistently emailing me every week with the right kind of stuff. The rest of them are either just not bothering, or they're literally just sending out an email with a picture of their latest thing and being like, look at this new thing in my Etsy shop, and that is it, right? So I would really kind of understand that there is an actual human behind the screen who wants to hear from you and who is looking for that additional nurturing before they are likely to buy, okay? So don't worry, if it is, 2 to 3 times a week, that's not too much. If it's outside of a big product launch or a big shop relaunch, I would say maybe 3 to 4 times a week like keep it at that maximum, but really minimum is 1 time a week. So really 1 to 3/4, I'd say 1 to 4 times a week is the ballpark as to how many emails you should be sending. Okay. So I just want to kind of really mention that and say that like people sign up for your email list because they want to hear from you. Now, speaking of signing up to email lists, that's one thing that I think a lot of people miss, is that they won't have a decent enough incentive to make people want to sign up. Really, at the end of the day, it just simply has to be something of value that you are giving someone in exchange for their email address. Okay. You can do the whole keep up to date with my thingies and this and this and this. And if you've got a big audience where you are nurturing them, people, and I know I keep saying nurture, but you know what I mean, where you are like really coming at them and saying, oh, you know, there's this amazing thing, your products restock, sell out, you really have an engaged audience, then I would say that simply would be fine. But for the majority of us, we are unknowns for now, right? We are someone who has just started a shop. Our brand isn't very well known. Our Etsy shop isn't very well known. What we do is very well known. And we kind of are trying to break into this scene of whatever our niche is, whether that's jewelry, t-shirts, slippers, mugs, candles, whatever. So offering some kind of incentive is kind of like saying, okay, I know I'm new. I know that you don't really know me all that well, but give me a chance. Here's a little something for you to sign up to my list. And hey, if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. Okay. Now that thing of value, the most common one I would say for a product-based business is some money off their first order, right? The reason for that is because everybody loves a discount. It's easy. It's just a code. You're done. You're dusted, sorted. The other reason is that when you're thinking about it, people who sign up to your list to get the coupon are only going to be those who are genuinely interested. And that is the huge difference between a crappy freebie, something that's just very generic, that won't get the right kind of people on your email list, versus something that's a little bit more specific. Because what we want essentially is a super engaged list of people who want to hear the next thing from us and who eventually want to buy from us. Okay. So for example, for me, with my handmade jewelry business, it was always a 15% off coupon. It was enough that I could offer it that, wasn't going to, really dent my profit margins that much because I'd priced it with that in mind. But it was enough to make people go, you know what? That's actually a pretty good one. I'm going to sign up for that. If it was 5%, I'd maybe say, is that enough? Unless you're selling something for like £500, £1,000, whatever, then I'd say probably a minimum of 10 would be a really good idea. Okay. So consider that. There is also another way that you could do it. It could be something like a PDF, a guide, a booklet, even like a mini course in exchange. Now, I would say the only thing with that is that it can be quite tricky to nail that sweet spot in terms of what pain point they have that drives them enough to want to sign up for it versus the kind of people that you're going to get on your list. Because like I said, at the end of the day, the whole idea of this list is to get people that are more than likely going to eventually buy from you and become super fans. Because super fans are the ones that continuously buy your stuff, which are the ones that we want. As we know, it costs a lot less to sell to an existing person within your world, whether that be email list, home hub, whatever, than it is costing wise to acquire a new customer, a new person. So keep that in mind as well when talking about home hub's email list, is that yes, it can be a lot of effort to start up with, but in the long run, basically what you want, what is the ideal thing is to have like a group of maybe, 10 to 100 people that buy everything you release. Because then, whenever you bring something else out, as long as it is aligned with the target market of that group of people, if they are your super fans, they're going to buy it, right? So think of it a little bit more like that rather than, it's just something else marketing wise that I have to do. Okay. So we've talked a little bit more about the freebie, the incentive to join up. It has to be more than just keep up to date with my latest offers and because, when you're first starting out, people don't know what you're all about. They don't know what that is. They're not really sure. If Lush or Nike were to say, keep up to date with our latest offers, then a lot of people would still sign up, just in virtue of the size of their audience and how many people are already major fans of those brands. But when you're just starting out and you haven't got that clout, then offering something of value in exchange is really, really where the good stuff is at. Okay. So when we talk about starting tech-wise, I personally really love MailChimp. Now, MailChimp is something that I wish that I had stuck to. At the moment with Handmade Bosses, I am with ActiveCampaign, and honestly, it is the most complicated email software that I have ever used. There's just a lot to it. There's a lot of like bells and whistles. And if you're into your tech, then go there because they really do it really, really well. I would say if you are just starting out, MailChimp is simple. It's great. It gives you a landing page that you can create to get people to sign up for the thing. Really easy click and drag templates for you to make the emails. It's even got some like AI tools in there as well to help you actually write the damn things. But also it's like the customer service is absolutely stellar. I think the other place I would recommend when you do get a little bit more advanced maybe is ConvertKit. And I like ConvertKit. Again, I wish I'd stuck with them because of the simplicity of it. And I obviously went to ActiveCampaign and now it's a freaking nightmare to get anything done. And my list now is so huge that the idea of migrating away just terrifies me. So do bear that in mind as well, is that the bigger your email list grows, the more kind of embedded you are to your current tool. I know that there are people out there who can help me with it, but I'm lazy. I just like to keep things simple. So MailChimp is a really good starting place. They have a free or a low cost plan. I can't quite remember off the top of my head which one it is, but even the low cost plan, it's something like 10 or 15 bucks a month. And that you get a lot of bang for your buck in terms of the functionality and all that kind of thing. So lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what to do with them once they have signed up to your list. So you've decided an email list is for you. You have got a nice landing page for people to sign up. You have got an incentive for people to sign up, and you are kind of really looking at now, what do I send them? So the first thing I would say is to have some kind of welcome sequence, right? This should be about 5 to 8 emails twice a week for the initial 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Okay. So what this is basically the first email will deliver whatever it is you promised when they first signed up, right? Discount code, ebook, whatever. And then introduce you a little bit more to the brand and the brand values and what they stand for and why you are doing what you do. So something really good here could be like a handwritten note from you as the business owner, being like, when I say handwritten, hand typed rather, basically speaking on why you started the business, what makes your heart soar, maybe even include some testimonials in there, basically being like, hey, this is me, this is what I do, this is what makes us unique, and this is why people love us. Okay. The second email should be building off of that, maybe talking about your favorite product, why you liked creating it, what you love about it, and what other people love about it as well. And it just continues on like that. You are gradually introducing people to your brand. Imagine it as like you get like a 2-minute pitch every week, and you basically have to just talk about the best bits, talk about what makes you unique, talk about the best testimonial you ever got, talk about your customer stories and what they've used your products for. Like really, really look at the emotional value of your product and think of ways you can lean into that by using client testimonials, by using your own feedback, by using product testers' feedback if you even have them. You can even take screenshots on social media of messages that you've had or comments that you've had and just really kind of put your best foot forward, because this welcome sequence is going to be the foundations as to what everything else afterwards would be sent. And the best thing about this is that you have the first 4 weeks of emails already done, and you just literally have to just sit back and they auto send out, and that's that. And then you can move them on to like your every week sequence, which is where you start writing emails every single week. Now, talking about writing emails every single week, it can totally be a more in-depth version of a social media post. It can also be a blog and like kind of going into that a little bit more. It can also simply just you being like, this week has been a nightmare, the kids have been off, but I've managed to get this particular product made. You don't have to overthink it that much. Again, it's a bit like when I was talking about social media in the episode talking about can I have a business without social media? You don't have to present this perfectly polished facade. People connect with those who are more like them, like real people. Okay. So talk about things that your target market want to talk about concerns, talk about wins, talk about anything along those lines. Get people to reply back to the email. You can even put like polls and timers and things in emails. So don't make it just I'm talking at you, but get people involved as well. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about, which I know I've said that twice, but the last thing I want to talk about is how to get people to sign up for your email list. So obviously you have your thing that you're giving people in exchange for their email address. Okay. So obviously you have that, which is great. But where do you get people to sign up? Well, the first place would be if someone says to you, hi, do you do this in gold or silver, or can you do this? That can be something that you put at the PS of every single message, email, DM, whatever. The other great thing that I tend to use is that I will put it in a listing image, and I'll literally have almost like a little ad for it in my listing image. You can put a QR code in here, which by the way, Canva can do for you for free. Or you can just put, hey, the link for this will be at the very bottom of the listing description. So if you just scroll to the bottom of that, you'll see it there. Click it. Get your discount code done. And that, honestly, just by doing those two things, I grew my email list to a massive amount just by virtue of the amount of people that were coming through into my Etsy shop. Okay. So I really hope that has helped you to kind of get kickstarted on this whole email list journey. We've talked about why you should have a list, what freebie should you offer, how you should send your first emails, what you should write after then, and how to get people to sign up for your list. So I hope that this has been helpful. Like I said, I'd love for you to DM me with any aha moments that you've had, because that would be amazing to be able to literally get direct feedback from you guys. And also, if you could do me a favor and write me a little review on Apple Podcasts, that would be amazing. It just means that more people will see this podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in to How to Be a Handmade Boss. And if you're eager to boost your Etsy sales within just 7 days, then be sure to join my most popular free training at handmadebosses.com/conversion. You can also find the link in the show notes as well. Keep an eye out for our next episode, where we'll be continuing our journey towards handmade business success together. And until then, keep crafting and stay inspired, because the world really does need those special creations that only you can make.